The story of how I bred the Rummynose Tetra started months before I got my first batch of eggs. And so in order to truly appreciate all that it took and all that I learned along this journey, I must take you to the very beginning. Alright everyone, so I'm at the store and we are at the distilled water section because in order to breed tetras you have to have really soft water. Now in nature what happens is these Rummynose Tetras breed during the wet season, so there's a lot of rain and rain doesn't have a lot of minerals dissolved in it, so it's washing away all the minerals in the rainforest. This is a trigger for the fish to breed, and so we need to replicate the water parameters essentially. And the only way to do that right now is either with distilled water or RODI water, both of which have very little minerals. And so I'm at the store getting the distilled water. Usually I would start this as I am conditioning my fish. And there goes my receipt. Please come back, sir. Boom! The first rule of science is to use eye protection, and the second rule is to taste everything. I made sure there were no additional fertilizers added to the peat moss since I wanted to grow fish, not plants. I added in the peat moss and set it aside for the two ingredients to get acquainted, which took about 4 weeks. It was finally time to condition the tetras. I hatch out live baby brine shrimp and feed them like kings. I feed brine shrimp as many times as I can, which works out to be once every 2 days or so. I supplement with fish food in the mornings when I'm busy and ready to go to work and school, so that they're always full. I named this one Hansel and this one Gretel because the goal is to fatten them up. Now often the advice you hear from breeders and web pages is to condition your breeders for about 2 weeks using live nutritious foods before you breed them. But I always opt to let the fish tell me when they're ready. And in this case, it took almost 4 months for the females to grow thick with 3 C's and ready to breed. The males are slim and shady, constantly following the females around. I separate the males and females for an additional week so that they would be ready to go when I put them back together. It's time to set up a spawning tank for them, a sort of love hotel, to create the next generation of homebred Rummynose Tetras. I needed a nice romantic bed of moss for Hansel and Gretel to spawn in. I also added a sponge filter which provided the romantic music with some gentle bubbling. Lastly, a heater set at 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It was time to add the lovebirds in. It took a while to get them in the net.
Get in, loser, we're going shopping.
But after some forceful convincing, I had the entire group rounded up. In total, I added 6 females, 1 proven male, and a few I couldn't really tell, but I guessed they could watch. Lastly, I drew the curtains, dimmed the lights, and snuck out of the fish room, leaving them alone to rizz each other up through the night. Alright everyone, so it's very early in the morning, but Jesus Christ, that light is bright. But I'm gonna go downstairs now, check to see if the the Rummynose Tetras are breeding. The sun hasn't come up yet. It's completely dark outside, but you might have heard that Rummynose Tetras will breed like cardinals or neons, in that as soon as the sun comes up, they start breeding. That's like the trigger, you know, they breed right at dawn. But it's important when you're breeding a new species to not make so many assumptions and to sort of check your own progress and see how things go throughout the day. So we're gonna go downstairs, shine a light on them, and see if there's any fish.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing much sign of eggs. I'd be interested in looking at how these fish are breeding, but
what I'm looking for is these little white unfertilized eggs, because I know there's no way I'm going to see the actual fertilized eggs in water this dark. Ideally they'll be hidden in the peat moss, but I'm not seeing any signs of anything, so it could be just too early or something, and we're gonna have to keep waiting. I don't want to disturb them if they do breed at dawn. Just kind of let them have their privacy. So I'm gonna put this back under wraps, and we're gonna go back upstairs, and I'm gonna take a really, really short nap before I have to wake up and study for my exam. Alright everyone, so it's been a few weeks since you last saw me. I did a couple of different things. I've tried triggering them using more food, changing the water temperature, the substrate, no substrate. I've even added cold water the night before to try to trigger a spawn, making them think that there was rain going on, but nothing is working. So I had to do a lot more research online. I found an Indonesian source. It wasn't even in English, so I had to translate it. It was really bad translation because it was an auto translator, but I kind of think I know what they're doing. So what I did was we made a trip and we went to Hawaii. So flew there. It was really, really incredible. The few days I was there, it basically rained every day, but I took shelter under a tree and I saw this. Okay, so it's raining really bad, guys, but we're here for the Rummynose Tetras, and I want you guys to look down. Look at all of these things on the floor right now. Got some in my hands, and then look up at this tree right here. Let's see if there's a leaf or something I can pick up. Does this remind you of something? What does that leaf look like? Exactly, this is the Indian almond leaf tree, and yeah, these things, that is Indian almond, the catappa tree. Catappa leaves in the aquarium hobby is incredibly useful. It creates a lot of tannins, and look at all the almonds on the ground, y'all. I picked up some, my hands all dirty and stuff, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna collect this for the Rummynose Tetras. Yes, this is a breeding video still, so oh my god. That's a catappa leaf. Baby, I found you. Finally found you. I'm gonna put you right here. Look at this scenery. Oh my god. Time to return to my Rummynose Tetras. But as I got ready to go home, US Customs said I wasn't allowed to take them back because dead leaves could harbor pests. They also said I wasn't allowed to film the encounter. So I flew home alone and sad, hands empty of any leaf matter. All was lost. You know, it's kind of hard to believe that I was in Hawaii just a while ago with absolutely nothing to show for it. I did get this sick hat from Kualoa Ranch on the North Shore, but no catappa leaves. So it's time to do some Amazon shopping.
One eternity later.
Alright, let's see if this method works. So first of all, I'm gonna take all of this off. I was trying to give them some privacy. Rummynose Tetras are in there, and take the lid off to the side. And this is the key, y'all. These catappa leaves floating on the surface. You're gonna see if there's any eggs. Now, you might see these are bubbles, so I'm not too worried about them. I'm gonna zoom in. Those are all bubbles. But, oh my gosh. You guys see that? Right there. Those are all eggs. Those are rummy, oh my gosh. We have eggs. We have eggs. Yo, I can't believe this actually works. This is some game-changing stuff. The Rummynose Tetras don't breed like the Cardinals. They don't scatter their eggs in moss. They put them on top of the catappa leaves to keep them safe from the predators. What kind of evolutionary whack? What? How is that even a thing? They lay eggs on top of the leaves. What?
There are some really smart people out there. I don't know how they figured this out, but this is crazy. Like, I can't take credit for this. You know, it's not my research and everything, but to be able to show you guys this and make an English source, that is crazy. What? Guys, anything is possible, man. We bred a mono shrimps on this channel, something that no one thought was possible. And this is something, guys, you watch this for 20 minutes. It's a 20-minute video, 25-minute video. But I have been trying to get this to work for about 2 years now. And I can't believe it actually happened. Wow. Like, this is crazy. All right, it's time to show you guys the actual setup. Okay, so let me walk you through what I did. So we're using the same water parameters, so super soft, no conductivity, no hardness whatsoever in the water. I have about 10, 11 Rummynose in there, a mix of males and females, more females than males for sure. And then on the top, there's no filter in here at all. So it's just like a really nice backwater, nothing moving, no current. In there, on the end is a heater. It's set to pretty warm. It's an auto heater, so I'm assuming it's gonna be around 78, 79 degrees, maybe 80. So warm. But then everything else is covered. This is a 10-gallon tank, filled up, you know, a little bit, almost to the top. 10-gallon tank, and I've covered everything on every side except for this side, obviously, with this cloth. So it's very dark. And then on top, I just have glass to fit on the top here as a lid to sort of prevent some more evaporation. But I put them in yesterday and they've already spawned today. So now we got to go set up the grow out tank, because if there's anything like I've learned from the neons and the cardinals, is they'll hatch out within a day. So I got to work really quick. So the next thing to do is to gently brush the eggs from the leaf itself into the breeder box. Oh yeah, you can really see the eggs come out, huh?
I'm going to keep the eggs and fry inside this breeder box for the next few days, as the soft, tannin-rich, acidic waters is a natural antifungal and antibacterial to help the eggs develop. So now let's take a look at the development of the fry. At 24 hours into development, the fry are wiggling around and almost ready to hatch out. On the outside of the eggshell, you can see that little dot, and it looks like a explosion or a star, but I don't know what that is. Now, you can also see the blood moving around inside that fish, which is absolutely crazy. Also, you could see the chromatophores, which are pigment cells that will end up giving the fish its color. There's no color to the eyes yet, the eyes are still developing, but you can see the blood moving through that fish, which is, to me, an incredible look. If you watch carefully, you can also see the heart beating right under the eyes and between the eyes and yolk. In this video, you can actually see a ciliate running around the outside of the fish eggshell. Now, this is what the eggshells are for, right? It protects the fish inside from microbial attack. Now, this is probably my favorite shot of this entire video, and it shows the progression of the Rummynose Tetra's first day and a half of life. On the left, we have eggs that are about 12 hours old, and as you can see, it is not nearly as developed as the eggs that are in the middle, which are about a day and a half. On the right side, you have eggs that are already hatched out, and then on the bottom right here is an egg that is hatching as we speak. Now, what's amazing about this shot is that the fish on the bottom right actually hatched out on the microscope slide itself. You can see the empty eggshell on the top here. Inspired, I isolated an egg that I thought was close to hatching and watched as it struggled against the inside of the egg membrane to break free. I sat there holding my breath in anticipation as it rested, motionless, and gathered its strength for one final explosive struggle. Welcome to the world, little one. So one of the things that I've noticed about the Rummynose Tetras that are different from the other Tetras that we've bred before, like the Cardinals or the Neon Tetras, is that these eggs will hatch out sort of sporadically. With the Cardinals, it takes 24 hours and all the eggs are going to be hatched out and ready to go, and the babies are, you know, they still got their yolk, but at least they'll be out of the eggshells. But with the Rummynose Tetras, I find that it's a lot more sporadic. It depends on the fish itself. So you get more of a bell curve where, you know, at 24 hours, some will have hatched out and others won't. So if you're timing your baby brine or your infusoria, which I plan on feeding infusoria for these guys, they're really, really small, but if you're timing it and you're making your cultures, you gotta, you know, keep that extra time in mind. But anyways, like, this has been an incredible adventure. And essentially I make these videos for fish like this. I love the Rummynose Tetras, and this project is almost like a diary of my fish room and my fish room adventures. So anyways, I really appreciate that you guys are here, especially at the end of this video, all the way until the end of this video. And until the next video, I really hope that you guys have an amazing week, an amazing day, and thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.